Hey
Hi
guys,
guys,
I'm Shahaf,
and I'm Sofia.
and welcome to our podcast.
Wellness. So today's our last episode, and
Whoop whoop.
yeah, because we're finishing our high school journey, and a lot has happened. We just finished our mocks, which was an interesting experience. We will talk about it a little bit, and we thought it would be nice to just reflect on everything that has happened in the 2 years of our lovely IB journey and give you some final advice.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we started recording this podcast in the very early beginning of our senior year of high school, full of fears and doubts of how senior year is gonna go. And it's crazy to think that we're already basically pretty much past the very vast majority of it, time-wise. It's just crazy to think about that. Like, Sophia, what kind of can you please compare and contrast the fears and thoughts and doubts you've had in the beginning of your senior year compared to the ones you have now?
A lovely history paper two question.
Or global
Um,
politics, paper
yeah,
one.
I think, let me think. Well, first, I thought that, what did I think? I thought that I'm gonna fail my IO for English. I was like, no, this is gonna be the end of me because you have to come there and speak 10 minutes. I also thought I will not handle all the stress of submitting everything, like all the final deadlines for a bunch of IAs, like what was it, history, bio, English, German. But somehow,
All of them.
yeah,
Econ.
or econ, but we do it like 2 years, we do a bunch of IAs.
Yeah.
But somehow I survived it. So I think one of the lessons that can be learned is that even if you think you will fail, most likely you will not. Sounds basic, but when you're really scared, like I genuinely thought I will not get to March. And now it's almost freaking April, which is scary.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fears I have right now are bigger because the exams are coming up and I'm
Mm-hmm.
really scared that I will kind of fail. Because, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think you're gonna fail, but it's totally understandable and even rational to be having these thoughts and fears and doubts because I've had them. I still do. Actually, exactly a year ago from today, I kind of overcame a huge like anxiety attack, panic thing that I've had over like a span of over 10 days where I would just have constant panic attacks, anxiety and stuff like that. It was a really like tough period of my life, and it was definitely a big mix of, like personal stuff plus school stress. Um and so I didn't see my academic future as stable. Like I literally didn't see myself being here. I thought of dropping the diploma. I was
Yeah,
like, I'm not F the EE, F CAS, F all these stupid subjects that I don't even need to take, blah blah blah. And here I am, submitted my EE, a really really good one too. And here I am getting relatively good grades. Like it's
not
definitely.
relatively good. But how did you overcome all of that? Because I think a lot of people are overwhelmed. I myself still didn't overcome much,
Mhm,
but do you have some advice for people who are listening to us and are in a
mhm.
similar situation?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the thing is that I call it a dark March of 2021, was it? Yeah, 2021. The dark March. Um, it was really radical. Like it was crazy. I don't think I've ever experienced something like that. It was really severe, and I don't wish that upon anyone, to be honest. It was a really tough experience. But I think what made me overcome it is kind of realizing that I need to find life outside of school, because especially back then we were also in lockdown for so long, literally from October to May.
Mm-hmm.
um of our junior year, we were in lockdown. So that definitely had a huge impact on me. So I try to find ways that I can forget that am stuck at the house for, such a long time. So I started working out a lot more at home, like all these like Chloe Ting challenges, that you can, like keep count of as well. So then it helps you see, time goes by, even if it doesn't seem like it. I started taking really long walks outside after school. I remembered loving it. It was really refreshing, and also like just talking to people, because I was also going through something really severe that none of my friends knew, none of my teachers knew either. Only my very immediate family, which is my parents and my brother, knew, not even like my outside family. So it was really hard not sharing it with anyone. So I really found, like my tight knit circle, that, people like Sophia, that I felt like I could share what was going on with me, and just talking it out really helped me. And also, again, it sounds really cliche, but time, like giving things time, will help you. It's like a saying in Hebrew, like time does its job. You know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah,
it's
it's
just a
like
saying in Hebrew, but like you know what I mean?
yeah, it's like with time everything gets better. We kind of say
Exactly.
in Russian as well. And I think that's true. I think especially I think when you're really like stressed and it's like actually severe, like in your case, you actually have to do something. Like you can just like you have to do something for your health. You can't just
Yeah.
sit and stress and wait because it can make things even worse. So I think all that
Right.
advice you give is obviously perfect.
Yeah,
And
I mean, for me, if I'm going through something that doesn't have anything to do with school, then I bury myself in schoolwork to help me like get a little bit distracted, a bit more, um, like doing stuff that has nothing to do with whatever personal issue I'm going through. But then, because my stress was, it was always there, again, because of the other personal thing that I was going through, which didn't have anything to do with school, but then school triggered it. Like school is what drove me to a tipping point, I guess you can say. And so then obviously I couldn't resort to doing, like, being occupied with a lot of schoolwork,
yeah, but I
because
also
that's
think
what triggered my mental health to go, like, to really drastically decline. So I had to find non-school hobbies, preferably non-screen as well. I
exactly.
started like drawing a lot more, which I love doing, like taking those long walks, listening to podcasts, talking with friends and family, which had to be on screen because of lockdown.
Yeah.
But
But I
yeah.
think, yeah, with stress though, I also bury myself in work when it's not school related. But I think sometimes it's actually not as good because at some point
Mm-hmm.
you have to confront what you're going through and you have to kind of find a way to let it all out, talk to
Right.
people, do something, not just try and forget about it. Because I think sometimes it can actually be much worse for you than,
Yeah.
actually doing something against it.
So, like, what do you usually do if you want to kind of like confront your feelings, I guess you can say?
I journal. And then I
Mm-hmm.
kind of find out because or I just talk to myself, which sounds weird, but it helps me. I talk about how I feel,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't go to a psychologist, and sometimes I don't. I would say I'm a more close person, and I wouldn't share a lot of what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Even if that's probably not the best thing, but still. So I talk out loud, and I kind of find out how I feel about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll cry, and then it actually makes me feel better because I finally let it all out, like everything I've been feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah. But also, talking to my friends, parents, being angry is also fine. I used,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
because I used to feel like, oh, like, why am I feeling like angry or like all this, not
Mm-hmm.
hatred towards someone, but
Yeah.
all these things that I was like, this is kind of like a bad thing. I shouldn't be doing that. But I think it's good. I think
Yeah.
you're allowed to feel what you want to feel. And I think that's something important to remember. If
Yeah.
you're angry, be angry. If you want to scream, scream. Not too loud, I guess.
Don't
But
wake up.
yeah. But just feel what you need to feel because
Yeah, no, like,
yeah,
yeah, you touched on such an important point. Like, if there's something that honestly, like, any wellness, like anxiety coping mechanism books teach you is that you need to just accept the current stage that you're at. So when you go into, like, when you're, for example, feeling anxious, and then you start asking yourself, why am I feeling anxious, and why am I feeling it like this, and why is it, like, what's causing it, and why is it happening, and you just draw yourself into such a vicious cycle of never ending anxiety. So what you have to do is kind of talk to yourself, train your body. And my mom told me to do this, honestly, in the dark March. And it honestly helped me, and I do that now as well. The way that I do it is I go to the mirror, dead ass, I'm not kidding right now, and I talk to myself out loud, and I tell myself, I know you're feeling anxious right now, and it's okay. It will pass. The anxiety is here. I am aware that it's here, but it's okay because I am capable, and I have the power within me to keep going, and it will pass, and everything will be good at the end. So even if I feel all this anxiety now, I just have to remember that at the end of the day, it will pass. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in a week, maybe not in a month, but it will. And it helps me. And the anxiety does pass. I'm basically a fortune teller.
Yeah, because I think that if you realize that it's not gonna, be like this forever, it kind of gives you hope that makes you feel better, like, oh yeah, today I'm feeling really down, and maybe the entire week. But then I think to kind of speed up the process, it's just important to do things that you like. I mean, I don't know, when I'm stressed, I bake. It
Yeah.
kind of really helps me. I don't know, because I like it a lot. So just doing whatever you want, whatever you feel like, instead of, like doing math. Or, I mean, if you like math, then for sure. But if that's
Go
something
ham.
that actually makes you stressed, like doing freaking probability, or, you know, I think it's just important to also take a break from school, because
Yeah.
oftentimes, even if it's not the trigger of your anxiety, it can often make it kind of worse because you feel exhausted, especially in the senior year and also in the junior year when you are doing a bunch of things and you're actually still getting used to things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, for example, I was really anxious about my English IO. I don't know. I wish so many things upon myself. Like that was bad. I was like, I wish like I will not be able to speak anymore, whatever. Like that was bad. Okay, and I think I was joking about it, but I was so anxious. And then when I was done with it, I was like, wow, that was fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think it will be the same with the exams. I mean, obviously you're stressed because it's like the final thing. But when you come in and like with the mocks, I was really scared of math. And then it was fine. I just sat there. I didn't get everything right. I got 0 points on 3 tasks, which
Yeah.
is like, I mean, I was disappointed, but I think that's fine. And I think with like academic success, being stressed about it, it's just also important to remember that we learn
Mhm.
from the tasks where we get 0 points, and
Yeah.
you will probably never make the same mistake again. Like, if you really messed up and the teacher told you never do this, you will actually remember to never do it. So I think it's just like important to take time and consider all the things that it will pass. It will not be as scary as you think as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like even going back to this math mock and like not being able to do some stuff, like every day I walk into my school and I see this um I think it's a Michael Jordan quote, because
Oh,
we have
like
this
failed.
with a bunch of quotes, and he's like, I failed many times in my life, and this is why I succeed today, or something like that.
Mhm.
And I think that is so true. Like, um you only learn from your failures. It's kind of like I say, do you know, like, my philosophy, Sophia, with like regrets versus learning experiences, or like, no, not regrets, sorry, regrets for no way mistakes versus, there we go, mistakes versus learning experiences. A mistake is when you do something you don't learn from, and then you perhaps do it again. A learning experience is something you did that you shouldn't have done or that was wrong, but then you learn from it and you learn not to do it again.
Yeah.
So this is like a huge difference between like a mistake and um and a learning experience. So for example, in a math test, let's take a super easy example. You couldn't find, I don't know, the x-intercept of a graph on your first test. So you made a mistake there. But then on the second test, you actually were able to do it. See?
Yeah.
Like, do you see this
You learned.
kind of? Yeah, exactly. So you just kind of have to take it step by step and treat feedback as your biggest, most bestest friend.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I don't have any other way to put it in.
So what do you learn from what did you learn from the
Mhm.
mocks, and what you wish you'd known before like sitting all the exams,
Uh-huh.
and what you wish you didn't do, maybe?
The one I think the biggest thing I learned is that I really needed to have an exam schedule, like an exam learning schedule, because I felt like when I was studying for the mocks, I was kind of all over the place, and it made me not necessarily unproductive, but maybe more disorganized. And I feel like I could have gone to certain topics a lot deeper than I actually did in terms of understanding and revision if I had a learning plan beforehand. And I think in the actual exam setting, I just kind of learned how to handwrite quick, but so my hand won't hurt that much. And also just planning and taking it easy and deep breaths and realizing that it'll be okay at the end. I remember waking up every day during mock week and I was like, like I'm still alive and like this is pretty chill, you
Yeah.
know? And of course it's like the mocks, not the actual final exams, but I thought I'll be a lot more stressed than I actually was,
Same.
which I'm really grateful for. And I think it's not necessarily like realizing that the mocks are not as important as the finals, but because I had coping mechanisms that I acquired throughout my IB career that helped me cope.
Yeah, for sure. But it's also just realized that even the whole like exam taking process is not as scary because I mean, obviously there are certain people who might come to the exam and be like, I know nothing. But I
Yeah.
think if you paid attention in the class, you are already gonna get somewhere. And I think that's why, because obviously you always feel unprepared. I feel like I never felt fully prepared, even when I got a 7 on
Yeah,
the exam.
for
And I think
sure.
it's just important to kind of stay confident and walk in and be like, I know it, and I'm just gonna sit here for 2 hours and I'm gonna, do my best. Because
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. And I mean, obviously, like, yeah, there are all these conditional offers from the universities and all that. But then I don't think that's what it should really be about. Like the university, I mean, it's the goal, obviously, but at the same time, like killing yourself because of that one point you will not get,
Dude. Yeah.
like mentally, like thinking like, oh, like yeah. Because when you stress so much about your grades as well, even for the mocks, I mean, I thought, yeah, if I fail my mocks, that's the end of my life. I'm never gonna succeed. And yeah, like I was mentally torturing myself.
Yeah.
And it's
And
fine.
it kind of puts everything into perspective, like proportions, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think important thing before the mocks is definitely having a schedule. I also didn't really have one, so I was like, I don't know, I would revise math for 20 minutes and I was like, wait, I don't remember this from economics. So I would go to economics.
Yeah.
I think I was so unorganized that it actually
I
made
had
me
the exact
stress
same thing.
more. So I think it's important to have that schedule, and it's important to keep in mind that it's a training. I don't
Yeah,
think,
for
I
sure.
know they will put it in our report cards, but I think they just put it, like they just say what you got, but it doesn't really influence your like semester grade, whatever. So it's fine.
Yeah,
Not
no, I
to cry
agree.
about. Yeah.
I agree. It's just kind of like um going back to I think our most recent episode that we recorded, like or the second most recent, I don't know, when we talk about the two extremes of students, the ones who care too much and the ones who care too little.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think my way of staying sane is finding the balance in between the two. So finding the balance between my academic and personal life. So on the weekend, it is okay to take a little break and watch a trashy movie on Netflix and go hang out with your friends to
Yeah.
recharge a little bit. Like it's fine. Or like binge read a book or something. I do that too. And it's amazing. and it helps me again stay sane and kind of get by. So I'm really grateful that I found, the ways in which I can recharge.
Yeah. And so we talked a lot about like the end of the senior year. What advice can you give juniors for becoming seniors? Because
Wow.
they are done. I mean, I feel like finishing the junior year is, like one of the big things because it's probably one of the heaviest content-wise year. Not
Yeah.
stressful in my opinion. I think you get much more stressed. I mean, it depends. It depends on your personality and how you cope.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's a very stressful time. Mid-May to mid-June for the juniors.
Mhm.
Very, 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 very stressful time. One of the most stressful ones I've had in my entire 2-year IB career, not gonna lie. I think that my biggest advice is that's so cliche, but finding your balance, find where you stand at with how much effort you can put into school and do well or achieve the goals you want to achieve. If for you getting a 4 is doing well, then you do that, but then also find the ways in which you can like recharge, find your balance, do what makes you happy, not just school, 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 school. And also just remember that it's only high school.
Yeah.
And if life is a marathon, okay? And when you start sprinting at the very, very beginning, you will not have energy towards the end
Oh, for sure.
of that marathon. So if you spend all of your time and energy now and you burn out now, what's going to happen in college? What's going to happen in grad school and medical school and PhD school, whatever you want to, or your job, like wherever you will go. So just remember that it's only high school and find a good support system as well, because that really makes a difference.
Yeah. So it's
What
just
about you?
stay sane. I mean, I was more scared in September of the junior year than in September of senior year because you kind of
Okay.
get used to it and it
Yeah.
just becomes something you do.
Mhm.
Like now we see grade 9 students complaining about their workload and we're like, seriously? Right? But then at the same time, I'm thinking about my junior year and I'm like, yeah, that was fine. Like, yeah, it was content heavy, but nah, it's okay. And I think that's how everyone will feel like all the juniors will come to a senior year. They will be overwhelmed with all the, because the teachers will start saying, like, oh, guys, okay, so let's plan your final IO, let's plan your final IA. Oh, we have to start revising for like the real exams. So I think it gets really overwhelming, but it's just important to keep in mind that it's going to end soon, first of all.
Yeah.
And it's important to keep in mind that you're prepared. Like everyone
Yeah.
is prepared. It's
Yeah.
fine. It doesn't, being prepared doesn't mean you will get a 7. It's just you know what you're doing. You've been doing it for a year by the time you're a senior, starting senior year. So I think it should not, you should just remember that it's not that scary.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I know like we sound like I know a lot of juniors and people who are younger than us are like, oh my god, like they sound so wise, but like they don't know what we're going through. Yes, we do know. And we only sound wiser, I guess you can say, now and older. It's because it's all in retrospective and it's all in hindsight. Trust me, in a year you're also going to talk like we're talking. Trust me. Okay? So just take it easy and take a deep breath. And if things start to feel really overwhelming, just step back for a second, do something that makes you happy, whether it's breathing exercises, whether it's a long walk, whether it's having really good food with your family or with your friends. Just do it and just take your time to work on yourself and then get back to it because you can.
Yeah. I think that's
Amen.
very nice
Thank you.
ending
Yes.
of the episode. And I think just as the final word, kind of to summarize, everything will
Go ahead.
everything will pass. Like all the fear, all the anxiety, but you still have to do something. I mean, Shahaf gave a lot of advice on that. You have to remember that your grades don't define you. We keep saying it like every episode, but that's fine. Kind of that your
It's true
success
though.
is just not like your who you are is not necessarily like who you are at school. You know, we talked about being school smart and street smart. Like you can be really a smart person, you read a lot, all of that, but doesn't mean you have to get sevens. And I
Yeah.
think that's, I mean, the most important thing, and we talked about it in some other episodes as well, is just finding ways to relieve stress. And it can be some for you, it
Yeah.
can be something that we didn't talk about because we've never done it. So I think it's just also it's a lot about exploring yourself and who you are as you go through all the stressful times. I think you learn a lot about yourself. You
Yeah.
learn a lot about how you cope with things, how you deal with, I don't know, like when you're under time pressure, like we all are. And
Yeah.
I think it's just important to remember that it's not as scary and all
As it might
well,
seem.
what
Yeah.
doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I hate this quote. I'm still gonna say it because
It's so true though.
yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. Like I might not like school, to be honest, and I might not like the idea of final exams, but I think it teaches you a lot and you become a
Yeah.
different person. Like if I compare myself as a junior and as a senior, two different people. If I compare myself with myself in grade 9,
Whoa.
big difference.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And this too shall pass.
everything will. And
Yeah.
yeah, just remember that you also always have support at school, counselors, Sunday,
Facts.
uh,
Sunday's our therapy dog at
yeah,
school.
everyone. And you can always, I think you can always find people you can talk to, even if you don't have a lot of friends. There's always someone you can talk to. A lot of people are open, you know, to talking with like strangers or like people that I'm not friends with. So yeah, just
For
stay
sure.
positive and remember that you're amazing regardless of what you're going through.
Yeah, exactly. So, wow, that was a really nice ending, Sophia. Thank you for taking over. I wanted to thank you for being an amazing partner on this podcast journey. And I hope you had fun recording with me. I had a lot of fun. And I hope you, the viewers and listeners, had a good time listening to our sometimes little rant sessions as well
Yeah.
online. And we hope that you learned even just a little bit. And if you did, we're really, really glad to hear that. And thank you just for, supporting us and sticking with us and listening to the new episodes we post all the time. And we just want to thank you for being here for us.
Yes, there's nothing more to add. I would also love to thank you, everyone who is listening. Yeah, I think it's been a great experience for the both of us and hopefully for everyone who listened to this.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you guys so much for listening and just have fun.
Yeah.
Life's good.
Summer is coming up, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll record another season. No one knows.
Maybe.
So
No one
maybe,
knows.
yeah, maybe we will see you soon, but if not, we just hope you're having a great time and you're going through things. You will be able to, you know, get over everything you're going through. And yeah.
We love you.
Bye guys.